Hi, the topic today is how to be highly effective, and I'm focusing on work. You can't reach your goal and dreams in life without work. Work is the essence of every human being. Work is our essence. What most of us tend to do is to say we have faith. But faith without work is useless. Why are we focusing only on faith, but we don't focus on work? Why are we focusing on faith and we leave out work? Work is the essential aspect of our life. The natural law, God gave a law. The law is God saying you must work. That is the commandment of God. But we've chosen to be sacrificing all the time. But we forgot that to obey is better than sacrifice. So work is essential. You see, if you are not pursuing an idea, you are not a great person. They say great people pursue ideas. How do you pursue ideas? You pursue ideas through your work. So if you want to be great, you must pursue idea. You can't pursue money. People who pursue money are not rich people and are not wealthy people. They're only rich but not wealthy. So the importance of this thing is to let you know that your work is your idea. And your idea is very, very important. So we are created to pursue our ideas. And how do you pursue your idea? By working. So we are already faith. We got the faith already, but we haven't got the work. So why are so many people crowding onto a place and calling it faith? So the essence of our life today is to work. Work, work, work. Are you doing the work? Now, if you are not working, you are not pursuing the idea I'm talking about today, and you can't be wealthy. So people who work are people who are expressing the idea. They may not be talking about it, but the work talks for itself. Their work they are doing is talking for them. So are you doing a work today? Are you proud of the work you are doing? Have you thought about what I'm saying today? Because I want us to change the narrative. I want us to change the story. I want us to understand the basis of life. I want us to be great and I want us to be successful. I don't want us to go into slavery again. I don't want us to be going about blaming people that China is enslaving you, or Western Europe is enslaving you, or India is enslaving you, or even Arab is enslaving you. Why do we think about this things? It's because we're not working. We've not imbibed the culture of work. We've not acculturized work into our system. So the essence of this video is for us to understand that the basis of a society and the basis of every culture is work. When people are not working, they are dying. And our being is the expression of idea. And how do you express this idea? By working. So it's not by talking, it's by working, doing it. You're expected to be seen working, not talking or not relaxing. So your work is very, very important. And the area I'm going to talk about today is how we don't, encourage the spirit of work in our society. Why don't we inspire people to work? Why are we wet blankets on people who are working? Why do we discourage people who are working? You see, every person has to work. For instance, when I wrote my first novel, Kalango, most of my friends, instead of appreciating it, they were saying, oh, they're reading through it to see if there is a mistake. If there is one mistake, they say, Emeka Anyanwu, you made a mistake. So because of one single mistake, that means you have to condemn the book. They said, oh, you're not a great writer. You don't write anything. You don't know what you're writing. You're writing stupid things. These are words that, word of, the feedback I was getting from friends and relatives. So how does this kind of feedback, how does it inspire me? How does it encourage me? How do we encourage people who are doing work in our society? Rome was not built in a day. Everybody knows that. A baby is not born that day and starts walking. But unfortunately, the people who are giving this feedback are people who are not growing, who are not improving. Anybody who knows the principle of work and principle of life knows that life is a progression. Life is a process. And the funny thing is that we are not progressing. We are not improving. There's no growth in our own culture. And that has affected us. And that has made us to be who we are. And that has, made us to be complaining all the time. And that has made us to be people who are being, victimized. We become a victim. Why would we be a victim? Because we refuse to work. We refuse to encourage our own people who are working. When we see people who are working, you discourage them by giving them a negative feedback. By discouraging them, telling them they've not done it well. But you know that they started newly. You know that you have to give them time. If you look at this very video, the first video I did about 5 years and the video I'm doing today, they are completely different. So if somebody has judged me by that one, then the person is mistaken. Or if I had stopped at that very first one, I will not have created an environment for me to improve, and I won't improve. So we know it's that we know everything, but we don't like to practice it. So, and even though we don't know how to practice it, we don't pay attention to understand these things. So it is essential, instead of concentrating on that, they killed black people in China, they abusing black people, because we are not working, because we are not productive. A society that is not productive dies. A society that is not productive becomes a victim. I can talk as much as I'm talking now, but if I don't practicalize it, if I don't put it into work, it's useless. A human being is useless if he comes to this world, he needn't work. Because God is not going to eat the physical, your body. It's going to check the idea. The idea is the work you're doing. So, and we will keep on screaming it till we're hard. We keep on talking it till our people change this culture. This antiquated culture, this culture crab mentality that's making you, when you see your colleague trying to progress or trying to create work, you discourage the person. For instance, I bought this cable yesterday. This is a cable, phone charger, cable for charging of the phone. I bought it yesterday. Now, when I came home, I tried it. It's not charging. And then I know that some of them might be charging 10%. It doesn't charge effectively. Now, this thing was packaged and sold to me. And I bought it. And I've not killed anybody. I've not complained. But I'm trying to use it to demonstrate to you that is how technology evolves. That is how technology moves. I remember 70s, we were saying Taiwan something. 80s, we were saying the cheap Chinese things. Because these people, they have to start from zero. Now, they can't be perfect. They said perfection is the enemy of creativity. Perfection is the enemy of good. Now, we are perfect. And that's why we are not, we lack creativity. That's why we are not good in what we're doing. Because you expect somebody that was born today to start working today. But you yourself lack creativity. So that is why we see people who are trying to bring up, spring up, and we stop them by our campaign, by witch hunting, and by, continuously ignoring them instead of inspiring them. We cannot separate envy from, feedback. So look at now the Chinese. During 80s, they were doing, producing something of substandard quality, lower quality, lackluster things. But today they've perfected it. So why can't we start from producing something that is of lower standard or substandard until we get to a perfect standard? Now we want something to be perfect, but we don't produce anything, we don't create anything. So life is a progression. Life is like a marathon. So you cannot get to the end if you don't start it. Today, Africans have not started. When we were growing up, we used to see people who were creating things, producing things. Like, people who are producing metals, welding things, welders and things. They are doing, it might not be perfect, but it's a step towards perfection. It's a step towards creativity. It's a step towards improvement. So it is very, very important we go back to that process. That's fundamental we don't want to do. The fundamental is whatever you have idea about, start producing it. Ignore the naysayers. Ignore people who are envious and trying to bring you down. Because everybody started like a baby. Now, Africans should go back to start productivity, because without productivity, you are finished. Without productivity, you will be complaining of colonization. You'll be complaining of enslavement. You'll be complaining of China taking over your area. You'll be complaining of the scramble of Africa by the Europeans. These are the stories, the narrative you'll be carrying about, stories you'll be carrying about. You will never sit down to produce anything. All of us are embodiment of creativity, embodiment of good things, but to sit down and produce it, we wouldn't. What we do is we complain every day. How often do you see the Asians complain? What they do is they allow their work to talk for them. So what I'm saying today is this: we have to go back to the roots. Going back to the root means producing these things. Even though it is not to the international standard, start with that. Look at today, we have people from, let's say, Madagascar, people, they've been able to produce medicine for coronavirus. Many Africans are shunning it. Many Africans are just jettisoning it and ignoring it, and be waiting for a vaccine produced in UK and Germany and China, when you got your own. You see, the spirit of slavery is a very dangerous thing. The spirit of slavery makes you not to have value for yourself, and also not to have value for your other people around you. That's why an African product, you don't have value for it. You prefer an English product to a Nigerian product. So this is a slave mentality. You don't have, your brother is doing something, but you don't like it, but you like what is done by foreigners. So in that sense, you are the one that is enslaving yourself. You are the one that is making yourself cheap by not having respect for your own things. You are a public speaker. Somebody wants to interview you. You will not value it until you go to CNN, until you go to British media, or you go to foreign media. That's the only time you have value for yourself. You don't believe you deserve good things. And because you don't believe you deserve it, when the good things come out, you cast them away. And that is our problem. We like to be accepted. If a British man doesn't accept your write-up, oh, he says he's not a good writer. We have great writers, but we are waiting for the British people or British media to accept us. And in the process, we become a slave to them. We spend all our time hoping and working so that the foreign media will accept us. Meanwhile, we have our local media. Our local media are there. One day I was speaking to my friends. I said, look, you're talking of Manchester every day. You're talking of Chelsea every day. You're talking about these foreign football clubs. But you don't talk about the one in your own village and the one in your own country. What is wrong with you? That means you believe you don't deserve a good thing. That means you don't have value for yourself. That means you don't have value for him. And that is the problem. So until we start having value for our own things, we will not produce. And any society that doesn't produce is dead. You can make as much money as you like in Europe and America. You know, do your 419, make your money. It will end up in zero because there is no productivity. I don't envy these people. I don't envy anybody who is not working. I don't envy anybody who is not producing anything. So the issue is this. We will keep on hammering it. It goes into your ear that the people that are colonizing you are yourself. How do you colonize, invite these people? How do British colonize? Because you've been brainwashed not to accept your own things. You've been brainwashed not to, start cleaning your streets. You've been brainwashed not to wash your clothes. You've been brainwashed not to clean your streets or do things for yourself. Then how can, if somebody hasn't got freedom, that means the person is in slavery. Now, how do we say we have freedom when we don't produce anything, even the toothpick? Now, the people who know how to produce the toothpick, our people will ignore them. You have a hospital. You don't want to stay in your own hospital. You'll be traveling abroad every day. Spending all your exchange, foreign exchange, and the money and dumping it in Europe and America. And then you're coming back to complain that you are being a slave, you are being marginalized. Time has come for us to define ourselves. How do you define yourself? By working. Showing your work. Show your work. We already have faith enough. We don't need more faith. What we need is work. Work, work, work. Work is what makes it happen. So I'm not interested in how many churches you have. What I'm interested in is how much are you working? It is boldly written in the Bible you are carrying that faith without work is useless. So you're having faith is useless. Having billions of churches is useless because you are not practicalizing it. You are not internalizing what your faith you have. Already you have the faith already. So what means to start working? So why is it so complex for us to understand that you need to work? That is better to obey than to sacrifice. And what we're doing is everyday sacrificing. Why not obey the simple rule? The rule is that every human being ought to work. Every human being must work. Because work is a way of expressing an idea. And that idea is that I am defining myself. Any man that is working is defining himself. Any man that is producing something is defining himself. So if you are not working, you are not defining yourself. Working, doesn't mean yes, you can work for people. But so long as that work you are working is helping you to define yourself, it's all right. But if it's not helping you to define yourself, you got to do a work that defines you. Because you are an idea. An idea has to be expressed. You see, so if the idea is not expressed, it's useless. It's like something inside the mind. If I have this kind of knowledge now I'm saying, I kept it in my mind, it's useless. When I die with it. I don't want to die living ideas inside of me. And that's why I keep on speaking this thing. Because I have seen that my people are not listening. I've seen that my people don't appreciate, the price they've paid in life to be here. Life is priceless. And because life is priceless, it pays you to work. Stop wasting your time mourning, telling me that Chinese are colonizing you, because there is a vacuum there, because you are not working. If your brother starts a business today, you will not support it, you won't like it, you'll be very angry. Till he stops it, and when he stops it, you're not going to start your own. You won't patronize it. In here, my good friend is always talking about the 3 P's. Patronizing, producing and patronizing. Any man who is not producing is not creating. And any person who, poverty is clearly because somebody is not fruitful, because somebody is not producing. You see, being fruitful means you are expressing your idea. Being fruitful means you are producing. Being fruitful, so that's the only way to get rid of poverty. Even if you do the highest 419, steal the whole money in the world, you will still be poor because you are not producing. Even if you get the best degree, get Harvard degree, if you are not practicalizing it, if you are an engineer, you are not producing, it is useless. Why do we don't like producing? Because we know producing is a difficult task. We don't like difficult things. We are like Esau, we want quick one. And then we are selling our birthright because we always want quick one. But you don't know you're shortchanging yourself. People avoid, working because they know that work involves creativity. Work involves time. Work involves, paying for it. And you don't want to pay. So it is practically lazy. So you are being lazy if you are not working. The only people that are being enslaved are lazy people. If we are being enslaved, that means we are lazy. If you are being colonized, that means we are being lazy. If the Chinese are taking our things, that means we are lazy. So it's a choice. So you have to define yourself. So don't use antiquated culture and believe that all these things we are carrying out. Don't use it and deceive yourself. You are saying you are protecting the culture that is not rooted in good work, the culture that is not rooted in virtue, and the culture that is not rooted in value. What value are you giving out? What value are you adding? Why are we deceiving ourselves? When somebody is working, you don't like it. Unless the person goes to the government and steal all the whole money, and then you start celebrating the person. Why do we not think properly? You only respect a politician that took your money and stole your money meant to build the industries, money meant to create an enabling environment for people to be productive, for people to define themselves, and then, and took the money or stole the money and then dump it in the street, and then that's the person you celebrate. And you say he's a billionaire. Oh, this man is a billionaire. Oh, this man is a billionaire. We celebrate tips. So stop deceiving yourself. You are God. You are created in God's image. You know much than I do. Stop shortchanging yourself. You are created. You are wonderfully made. In fact, you know that Christ died for you. That is a priceless. How much money are you going to make from it? So in this life, you have to understand that the distance that, look, there is no amount of money somebody will pay you that is more than you expressing yourself. So why do we choose money instead of idea? Why have we chosen money instead of idea? We pursue money like crazy people. We can sell our brother because of money. We can kill our brother because of money. We can kill everything because of money. You can do 419, G ritual so that you get money quickly. Don't you know that you're building a house on a sand? If you watch, look back, you see that the house is already turned like it's already out. It's been knocked out of the base. So begin today to understand that work is the essence of our life. Work is essential. Work is very, very important. If people are not working, disregard them. And then if you see people who are working, encourage them, inspire them. You understand? Because if we are not working, we are baseless. We are not, we are undermining ourselves, shortchanging ourselves in every manner. That is, everything you are doing is not wouldn't work. So you can hear as much gospel as you like, but if you are not working, you are practically useless. You are not using the talent. You are not producing. You are not. Creativity is about producing. The reason we have poverty, abject poverty everywhere, is because we have people who are not producing anything, who are not working. I know how to do welding. I don't do it. I know how to print something. I don't print it. I'm a printer. I don't use it to print. I don't work. I'm an electrician. I don't work. I'm this. These are skills you know how to do, but practicalize it. Get it done. Stop pursuing money like people who have no brain. We have brain. We're endowed. Don't be like Esau, who sold his birthright because of porridge. Because when you are thinking in a short-term form, and that's why Esau didn't realize that he has shortchanged himself. But when he realized it was late. So don't wait till it's late for you to realize that we must work. Faith we need is just a tiny faith. Every other thing is to work. So I'm telling you today, begin today to create something. Begin today to be productive. I know it's not easy. The society has already made a choice for you and has chosen a direction for you. But it's your responsibility to say no. It's your responsibility to define yourself. It's your responsibility to say, look at where I stand. And how do you say that? Not by mouth, but by your work. So, thank you.